Hey guys, I'm Sean,
And I'm Jim.
and today we have a request to do our favorite appetizers. Um, and we're gonna go ahead and get started with mine. Before we start, remember guys to like and subscribe if you want to see more of these, and yeah, hit the bell for notifications to make sure you don't miss anything. All right,
And if you don't like it, hit the like button anyway, and send the people that you don't like over to watch it.
that'll work.
No such thing as bad publicity.
Hey guys, I'm Sean with Cross Country Food Wars, and today we are doing our favorite appetizers. In our household, favorite appetizer is these Philly cheese egg rolls that I make. So we're gonna go ahead and get this started off with a pepper and onion mix.
Okay, I like that right off the top.
A yellow bell pepper, a poblano, and an Anaheim chili.
Okay, why even bother with the Anaheim?
We're gonna get a little bit of seasoning on. It's a little bit spicier than a poblano.
That's backwards. Anaheim. They have no spiciness at all.
I've always felt like the Anaheim had more than the poblano. I don't feel like poblanos have hardly any at all. A little salt, a little pepper. A little hot paprika. After these have been sauteing for a couple minutes, we'll add some garlic.
No, Carl's Jr. or Hardee's for some people used to offer what they called a California chili beef sandwich. And they used Anaheim chili because they were gringo chilies. They had no heat to them at all, just flavor. Gotta have butter.
Yeah, I didn't want them sticking. The peppers are smaller, except for the bell peppers, because they're in there more as a seasoning as opposed to an actual item. I kind of have them minced up real fine. The peppers and bell peppers are more the feature item in regards to the vegetables.
When you say seasoning, what do you mean?
So I'm using them. So like there's how do I put this? Yeah, I knew I was gonna have to explain that. So essentially they're those Anaheim chilies are and poblanos too are diced up so small they're virtually going to disappear, but the flavor profile will get added to the mixture.
Right, there's almost no texture to them.
Right, they're going to be completely gone, and that's what I meant by they're more of a seasoning than an actual item.
Okay, so you're adding the bell pepper for the texture.
Right, the bell pepper is much larger, as you can see, than the other peppers are. So.
Okay.
Going on long enough now. But I knew I was going to have to explain that because I worded it awkwardly. Just using minced garlic.
Time to buy more garlic.
That I have 2 more jars in the fridge. That's something that I'm absolutely fearful of running out of. And we're just running out of garlic. All right.
Okay, what's that you just put in?
That's just the beef, the thin slices cut the top.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. For a little while, so they're not cooked very long. As you can see, it's cooked. It's sliced very thin, so this won't take long at all to cook up. And we'll be back in just a minute when that's done.
Okay.
Okay, so now that we've got our beef here and everything cooked up together, we're gonna start assembling our egg rolls.
God, I bet that smelled absolutely delicious.
It did. First thing I'm going to do...
I mean, I can smell that picture.
Dab a little bit of water on the corner here. I should have used an egg wash. Some of them did pop apart. Unfortunately, I should have used a real egg wash. That's the only thing that I regret about this dish.
Hi,
Make sure you get a little bit of the peppers in there.
Be prepared for the cut to music.
And then we're going to go with a slice of pepper jack cheese.
Okay.
And that's going to get folded up in there. And then we're just...
What kind of wrapper is that again?
Egg roll.
Oh, you got fancy on us.
YouTube actually has a really good, nice selection of royalty-free music that is just included in YouTube. So I didn't get too fancy or anything.
There it is.
Grabbed a little
That's all
piece
nice
of it
and
to
wrapped
plug
up
up. You know,
And,
plug up awkward
yeah,
I
silence.
won't put the rest of them on camera. Just know that they're all going to be made pretty much like this one. And that'll be that. All right, and in the oil these go.
375, 350.
320.
About 320.
That low.
Yeah.
It'll take a couple minutes.
Everything's cooked inside. We're just looking to crisp the skin.
And I'm just going to do these 2 at a time. I don't want to overcrowd the pan. So we'll be back as soon as those are done. I notice they're already bubbling up.
They already started puffing that fast.
Yeah, I can see that one that started falling apart.
To record
Yeah,
pulling them out of the
unfortunately,
fryer.
some of them did fall apart a little bit.
These are...
But none of them dumped
Philly
themselves
cheesesteak
in,
egg
so that's
rolls.
good.
They got pepper jack cheese in them. They have bell peppers, onions.
And I regret not doing a cross section, but I didn't
Anaheim
do it.
chilies and poblanos.
We were hungry.
These are going to be delicious. They've got some
I
small,
believe it.
sliced flat round steak, and I made a chipotle mayo sauce to dip them in. So
Nice.
Should be good. And we're going to get into these.
The
Later,
only
guys.
the only thing I would think, since you're using bell pepper, you've already got the green pepper in there from the poblanos and the Anaheims.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have used red bell pepper instead of green just to get a red color in there.
I didn't use green bell peppers. I used yellow.
Oh, I thought I saw green. Okay, but
No, there was poblanos and then there was Anaheim chili.
Okay.
Those are both green.
Well, I think I would have gone for something red in there, so I would have used a red bell pepper. Just because, red and green, and
It's one of those things that ends up not mattering though, because it's inside of an egg roll wrapper. You can't see it.
Right. But once you take that bite, you see what's in there, and you go in for a second bite.
Yeah. But you've already tasted it by then, so at that point, presentation doesn't matter. Presentation only counts before you taste something. I mean, that's the truth of the matter, right? Because you say we eat with our eyes, right? But the truth is that once you've bitten it, your brain's already been informed what it tastes like. You don't need image anymore. You don't care.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you, but that's another discussion. But yeah, those definitely look good. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
they were good. They were fantastic. Tasted great.
And if I were going to make those, which I might, because they did look good, I definitely won't make the same mistake I've made in the past of trying to use a rice paper wrapper instead of a proper spring roll. Okay.
All right. So to get into yours, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yes, and I didn't use spring roll either. I used egg roll wrappers.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah, I learned my lesson. Okay, I made 2 different appetizers. Here I'm getting some bread going for the bruschetta. And I like that take and bake because I can control how hard it really is.
You mean bruschetta?
Yeah, bruschetta. Well, take your choice. Bruschetta. There's 2 ways to pronounce it.
Is there two like correct pronunciations?
Yes, there are actually 2. I've seen both.
Okay.
Now that was in there for only like 8 minutes. They say bake it for 8 to 10 minutes. I wanted a relatively soft crust, so it was like 8 minutes. And yes, that was hot, as you can see when I was taking it out. But that take and bake hey, it's a good way to cheat on getting your own home baked bread, and it does taste very good.
I'm happy to see that you've cleaned your stove.
Oh, bite me. Okay, now,
That was a compliment.
okay, here I've got a can of drained water chestnuts. These are sliced because that's all the store had,
Okay.
but that's not a problem. I'm going to marinate these for about a half hour in some soy sauce. The next time I do this, I'm going to cut back on the soy and add some balsamic.
Okay.
But even so, this is fine. I'm just saying, this is my sister-in-law's favorite appetizer. It's going to be bacon wrapped water chestnuts. So this is just getting that soy in there. I say, I wish I would have added some balsamic to it. Next time I will, because I haven't made these before. But now that I've tasted them, I know what to do to tweak them up a tiny bit. Just put them in a freezer bag and let them sit for a half hour. Now, going back to the toppings on the bruschetta, I'm going to take some cherry tomatoes and just cut them in half. Put them into a mixing bowl. I'm not going to show the same thing. For this, I grabbed my wife's 6-inch petty, and it needs a trip to the sharpening stone, to put it mildly.
Clearly, yes.
But that's okay. It's still sharp enough to not mash them off. It's still good, but it needs to be touched up.
Definitely. Isn't that a whetstone I see there? In front of
Sure
me?
is.
Touch it up.
You see a stroke in the whetstone. Yep.
Touch it up, man.
Here's some sweet basil. Once again, fresh from our garden. No need to watch my horrible knife skills for all that.
You would do yourself a favor to roll that.
I thought about that, but I didn't want a chef knot on this case. I really just wanted a rough chop.
Well, I'm just saying it would have been easier to cut. It would have been much easier to get through it. Much easier. That's all. I'm not saying get it thin.
Okay, this is a little bit of Worcestershire sauce.
Okay, that's interesting.
And some Parmesan. And like, as you and I always do, measurements. Are you kidding? What looks right? And now just a quick toss on this, just to let everything sit and just let the flavors meld together for a while. And of course, garlic.
Raw garlic.
Of course. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I personally don't like raw garlic at all.
Now I do use garlic powder once in a while, only when it's having chunks is not appropriate. But
another option would have been to roast the garlic, and then you would have had like a paste that would have come out, and you could have whisked that into the
Now, in the meantime, the chestnuts the water chestnuts have been marinating for a half hour or so.
I see that color's changed, so the marinade definitely took.
Yeah. Now, this is a thick cut bacon. I would have preferred thin cut anytime I'm wrapping and baking, but this is what I had. The store did not have any thin cut bacon, believe it or not. So this is stuff from the deli.
Now, how do you think these would go on the smoker?
Pretty good.
Pretty good?
They go pretty good. So once I saw how much I had to use, it turned out that a half slice for each wrap. On the slices, I took 3 slices of water chestnut per wrap, and that worked out good. 2 was too thin, 4 was too much, 3 was just right. So wrapped it, secured it with toothpick, put it onto a rack on a sheet tray. Now, I made a mistake here. If you notice, they're sitting flat. Afterwards, you'll see, I should have laid them on their side. They weren't going to go anywhere. They were thoroughly secured with that toothpick. So I should have put them on their side. And you'll see what I'm talking. understand what I'm talking about later. So now I'm getting the bread ready. Just
I
cut it
like the angle cut.
right. Cut it
I
on the
like that.
bias. This is going to go in the broiler for about 2 to 3 minutes. Just enough to get golden brown. I'm going to drizzle some oil on here, some olive oil. I could have sped through this, I guess. But, I mean, really, how hard is it to put oil on bread? But don't skip it.
Certainly not.
Do not skip that step. And yeah, I did take a piece off earlier for quality control. Like I say, into the broiler. I had to check to see which way the burner was because I wasn't certain. I had to turn on, make certain it got even browning on it. And that's what I was saying. You'd laughed at. You can see my male balding pattern.
I wasn't going to point it out.
No,
I was going to let you have that one.
Yeah, I saw that and I'm thinking, oh crap, give Sean a laugh. So just get them nice golden brown. Next time I'll go a little bit. Next time I'll go a little bit less because Val's teeth and mine both like a little bit less crunch to our toast. So once I was done, I put the bacon in, or bacon wrapped chestnuts. These go in, depending on your thickness of bacon and how crispy you like it, anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes at 400 degrees. Now, I took these out at not quite a half hour. Now, I didn't show it, but the bottoms of those were not fully crispy. So I put them back in for another 10 minutes after putting them on their sides.
Okay.
That's why I said I should have put them on the sides to start out with. Now on the toast, I've got some creamed, or rather some whipped cream cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to put that on everything. And then put the topping on. And I'm playing it by ear. Because I don't normally do these things. It's a learning experience, but it worked out pretty good. Just start spooning the topping on, and actually, I think I got a pretty good presentation on it. Since all I had done is cut the tomatoes in half, it turned out that putting 2 tomato halves on each slice was right. So you see everything there. You're going to get a good bite from that. And of course, you got the garlic and the Worcestershire, the basil and tomato. I mean, not to mention the cream cheese. That all went together fine. There's the final appetizer plate.
You know, that's really good presentation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Not often I get a compliment from you on that. Yeah, up yours, Hammer.
Wow.
No. Well, I know it's Hammer that asks for this. It had to be.
No, it was Hammer that asked for this particular video. I like the idea though. I mean,
Yeah.
why not do an appetizer video? Our favorite appetizers. I like this. So
no, the water chestnut. That's actually my sister-in-law's favorite. And Val told me that. All that Val said was she likes bacon wrapped water chestnuts. Okay, what can I do with that? Now, a lot of people would use a candied bacon. They'd actually make a glaze with brown sugar and stuff to go on the bacon. And
that's probably how I would have attacked it, personally.
But we don't particularly care for that, for candied bacon. At least, okay, I like it. Val doesn't. But that's what I'm saying. Next time, I'll use just a touch of soy, but go with balsamic vinegar to get that sweet in there without actually using candied bacon.
I considered being a jerk and just making burned ends for my video.
That nothing wrong with burnt ends. I mean, the only question, would they be brisket burnt ends or pork belly burnt ends?
Yes, both are valid decisions. Probably though, I would have gone with there's actually a poor man's version that I make with a chuck roast. I'll make burnt ends out of
Okay.
chuck roast, and it's actually it ends up being just as delicious. It's completely indiscernible from point burnt ends. Believe it or not, you can't tell the
Yeah.
difference.
But without doing a full brisket, I would be tempted to go with pork belly burnt ends as an appetizer. If I was strictly doing an appetizer, I think I'd go with pork belly burnt ends.
That's why I was saying that you can get away with a chuck roast, because you can get chuck roast in all different kinds of all different sizes.
That's true.
And it's not and it's also not very expensive either. So you can get away with a really, really nice chuck roast burnt ends, and like I said, nobody will be able to tell the difference, man. Not unless they are like absolute barbecue connoisseurs. Like, I can tell the difference, but barely. You know what I mean? And I have a very good palate for barbecue, and I can barely pick out the difference, frankly.
No, the burnt ends that I've done, it's always been literally burnt ends, where I've had a brisket in there, and when I pull it out before wrapping, I just trim off the sides about 3/4 of an inch to an inch off the sides, then cube those up and put them in.
See, that kind of the modern iteration is that it's mostly just point meat. That's kind of the more modern iteration.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and we could debate on that, whether is it really burnt ends if you make them on purpose from the point meat, rather than just literally taking the ends and cutting them up, because they are just that, burnt ends.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, because it used to be that they were given away as appetizers in Kansas City, and now they're a dish in themselves that you pay good money for.
You do. I think I went on vacation when I was down in I went to vacation down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, a couple of years ago, and one of the barbecue spots that we hit up, because when I go, especially when I go down south, I want to sample some of the local barbecue wherever I happen to be. That's what I want. So we went to a barbecue spot. They said they were one of the supposedly, when we were asking around, they said they were one of the better ones. It wasn't self-proclaimed. We were actually asking people that,
yeah,
we were asking people that worked in the shops and stuff like that, because they live there. If you work in a shop, you live there. So we said, hey, where do we get some decent barbecue around here? Like don't ask the other tourists. They don't know. Right. Right. Go ask the guy who runs the, keepsake shop. That guy knows where the barbecue is, because he lives there.
Right.
So we were asking around. I was asking around in the different shops that we went to, and they pointed us at this place, and we went there, and I think those burnt ends were like $25 for like six cubes, and I was like, what the hell is this?
I've got a real problem with that. I mean, burnt ends, call me old school, but burnt ends are something that supposedly, I won't say leftovers, but just not the best part of the meat that's being barbecued. It's just that the burnt ends that they would serve to whet your appetite.
Nowadays, the burnt ends are just about the best piece. I mean, they're up there.
Yeah, I sort of have a philosophical issue with it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I get it. I'm just saying that it is a fact that they are one of the better pieces. Like the way that they're currently being, sold, they are one of the better pieces. And
course,
it's just the way it is.
Of course, when it comes right down to it, as long as you're eating anywhere where the pitmaster has half a clue, there's no such thing as bad barbecue.
Nope, no such thing. But all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Again, if you liked this, hit the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. And if you don't want to miss anything, hit the bell for notifications. Hopefully we'll see you guys in the next one.
Later.